Is it enough? Gestalt energy. Inscrutable cunning. Is it enough? It's the eve of the uprising! Tipping the stunner over the edge. Kaboom! Oh, we got him! We got him. Guys, it's BJ back, and I have got for you one of my all-time favourite decks here today. I've been working away on this one in the background. First and foremost, I want to say a massive shout out to Shrigma Male, who was one of the best players in our alliance. He's taken a bit of a break from the game, and this was like a parting gift from him. Now, it wasn't actually this deck exactly. I've kind of taken a concept he gave us, and I've kind of evolved it and changed it. And obviously, we just had a patch, and so this is patch proof. And I am super pumped to show you this deck today, guys. All right, so what are we talking about? We're talking about Combo Nexus. This is a sorcery deck. That means that it runs very, very few troops. We're actually running. If we just view the deck. Just view the deck on here. We're actually running a total of 20 stratagems and only 10 troops, and that's because Saffa has one of the best abilities in the game, I think, because what Saffa does, Saffa is a deck builder's dream, because what Saffa does is she just offers you this flexibility, right? And she can, you pay a premium, I would say, which is 2 energy for a card draw. Like a Manius Calgar type of thing, but you get to control that draw. Do you want it to be a troop? Do you want it to be a stratagem? Or in a pinch, you can even heal 1, which can be correct, particularly if, for example, you've got a good unit down to 2 health, and then you heal 1, it goes back up to 3, and now it forces your opponent to, like, not overreact, but, do more than just hit with the Warlord to clear the troop. So you've really got some flexibility in Inscrutable Cunning. Now, what we're trying to do with this deck is to use that early on to draw troops. When we mulligan at the start, we're basically keeping troops and we're getting rid of everything else. Occasionally, you might want to keep a backstab, because, that can also help you with the early game. But outside of that, I really wouldn't keep anything that isn't a troop, with the exception of Perfect Ambush. This is the one stratagem I would absolutely keep, just because it's pretty game winning, to be honest. What are we trying to do with this deck, guys? Well, if you saw my little opening salvos there, we're basically trying to create a combo where we get Nexus on the board, and we just play loads of spells, and we get big quick, and we just go off. This deck can do 40 damage to face in 1 turn. Absolutely, particularly if you can do it where, for example, you played turn 7, you play something like Nexus and Locus, both are stealth units, so then next turn you basically get those 2 plus your Warlord going off. What Nexus does is it says Artifice. Every time you basically play a spell, you essentially get +1 to your units, and that includes your Warlord, so you can grow ginormously. So first of all, let's start with the troops, and then we'll look at the combo. So the troops that we are running, and we've been very, very, very particular about this. Now, I was planning to show you this actually. This was the deck that I originally got from Shrigma. And you'll see in Shrigma's deck that he runs things like the Neophyte Icon Bearer, which is actually one of my favourite cards in the game, to be honest. He runs things like the Neophyte Leader, because this guy is just a really good 3-drop to drop on tempo to compete for board. Or he gives you an alternative combo with the Reductus Saboteur. And he also had, double Genestealer Familiar. So in other words, what he was doing here is he had this combo that I'm going to talk about, but he had like slightly more ways of other win cons, and slightly more ways of dealing with like the board, particularly in the middle of the game, with these other troops. But what I've actually gone and done is I've built a version of it here which drops all that. And what we're doing is we're really streamlining the combo. We're really going kind of pretty all in on the combo. And that's why we're only running like a single familiar. Honestly, guys, I've even thought about dropping this card, which is bonkers because this is an S tier card, right? And we are still running Sanctus, which I would probably drop if I was going to drop the familiar. And so we do keep one of those in, but we're really trying to be strict when it comes to the amount of troops in the deck. So apart from the familiar, what else have we got? Well, we're really looking to get going on turn 3. We do have a single 2-drop specialist. Again, why do we do this? Because first of all, you can play it on turn 4 and still draw a troop. You can play it on turn 1 and put a sabotage in hand. You can also play it with the familiar that we just talked about, and for very, very cheap, what you've just given yourself is a 3 power flanker that puts a sabotage card in your hand that he then has to spend 2 energy getting rid of. That's a pretty powerful impact on tempo in the game. But where the fun really begins is at the 3 drops. So we got the 2 Biophaguses. We do run the 2 Locuses. These are all stealth units, really, really pivotal to this strategy. And again, things like stunning, things like putting sabotage in your enemy hand, these are all designed to slow your opponent down, right? Now, this wasn't in the deck before the patch, but with the patch, obviously making this come down from 4 to 3, what this does is it gives us like another 3-drop without actually playing another troop, right? So we can still use the hero power to draw troops. We're not drawing more, there's not more troops to draw, but because this is a spell that deploys 2 troops, I actually think that it's worth a slot in the deck. And I'm even tempted to test dropping the Neophyte Specialist and putting a second one in, but I did just go over like a combo and something that adds, which you wouldn't get from this. So I don't know. But anyway, I'm going with 1. So let's talk about the deck as is. And then we obviously get into the big boy himself, the Nexus. The Nexus is what this deck is all about. This is your game winner. It is your primary win con. There are really 2 win cons in this deck, and this is the primary one. And this guy will go off, guys, as you're about to see. Now, to support that, we also run a single copy of Subterranean Ambush because, you know, you can play the Nexus, attack that turn, maybe the turn after, you kind of sort of go off on a like mini combo one. Maybe they kill the Nexus, and then you can Subterranean Ambush and do it all again, and then you win the game by that point. The other key win con, or the secondary win con we've got, is the Reductor Saboteur. And the Saboteur obviously can create with this amount of stratagems, can just create a shed load of explosives, which of course things like your backstab can then kill to trigger an AoE, and it's just really, really potent as a secondary win con. And I guess a tertiary one if it does go really late game. We got the Telepathic Dominion as well, and Sanctus is there really for control, right, to just help us get rid of some massive vanguards and things like that. So overall, this is this is the deck. This is really trying to refine it down, really play and streamline for the combo. Now, you know, we need to think about like in terms of things like the offense cards and things like, you know, against GSC, I'll often take the thing that makes troops cost 1 more because we're mirroring him anyway, but we're not bothered about like slowing the game down an extra turn because it kind of gives us a bit more chance to get the combo off. Against Eldar with the offense cards, I would probably say it depends on your hand a little bit. Like if you've got the Biophagus ready to go or the Locust, then maybe you'll start a turn early, so you play the one that starts the game on E3. Otherwise, you could just start on E2 because the first turn, what you're generally doing is you're drawing for a troop, unless you've got Nexus in hand, in which case you're probably drawing for a stratagem because you're wanting to build those up. Obviously, with things like Perfect Ambush, you can play this card onto your Nexus, and that just means that you get to kind of get the double whammy with Nexus, and it's just game over if you get that, guys. It's such a powerful play. We've got other support spells in here as well, of course. So we run Eve of the Uprising. Now, Eve of the Uprising has a primary thing and a secondary. The primary thing is just the fact it's a 1E spell. Every spell we can play, the more spells we can play, the cheaper, the better. And with it being a 1E spell, triggering the Nexus, It's just a trigger for the combo for 1E. It's as simple as that. However, the secondary thing is, it means that anyone who's got any ideas of dragging this to the late game, well, you've got no chance, because we could basically recycle this whole combo. We can use it to put a Nexus back in the deck, to put our Biofix back in the deck, and get them out 3 cheaper. Oh, it's just an insurance policy. It very rarely happens. But to be honest, even if you put one card back that gets reduced by 3 and then you draw it, amazing. And because we only run 10 troops, of course, the chances of you actually drawing them on the recycled amount is actually slightly higher. But make no mistake about it, the primary reason for this is just to have a 1 energy ping. Simple as that. Now I've talked about perfect ambush. Backstab's amazing. Early game control. It can go face for finish, and it can trigger the bombs from the Saboteur. Clandestine operation, because it draws through the deck, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to draw into our troops to get Nexus, and once we've got that, we're trying to draw into the stratagems so that we can have a big chain of stratagems. By the way, often when I have got Nexus down or Saboteur, often the first stratagem I'll play is actually Saffa's ability to draw another stratagem, because that opens up the most amount of options, essentially, and it's a free spell. Now, we do run the Enhanced Musculature, and this is a key card in this deck. It's not a card that you've seen played before much. It's also got a Space Wolf on it, which is pretty cool. But this is not a card that you've seen main decked in GSC decks before, but it is literally outside, I would say outside a Perfect Ambush. It's probably the most important card here. Being able to put +3 on a friendly troop, that is a permanent +3, guys. So you can stick that on your Nexus. And if you're, if you're able to get that and Perfect Ambush, it's just game over. This guy's going to be an absolute giant, a giant of a man. We've also got a single copy of Enhanced Resilience. This can just save you in a pinch. It can help you against AoE. It can make your locuses safe so that they can keep stunning, and it's all about stunning, slowing the game down, and putting those cheap sabotagers in so that you can get your combo off. Now, honestly, I really like that card, and I do currently have 2 Lightning Weights, and I have thought about maybe swapping that around and having 1 Lightning Weight and 2 Resilience, so that maybe that's something you guys could play around with. Let me know in the comments if you like the sound of that and which way around you'd do it. And also, don't forget to hit that thumbs up if you're enjoying this deck guide so far. Thanks for the support. But we do run 2 copies of Lightning Weight, because all of these troops that we've mentioned, right, they go into stealth and they come out and they do something, and then they're vulnerable, and that's where Lightning Weight can be really good, because you just pick them up and put them back into stealth. So it is powerful on the right turn, but the only downside to this is, like, when you've got the Nexus on the board and you want to just play all your spells to combo, you don't want to play Lightning Weight, right, because it will put the thing back in your hand, and you need a spell that's going to make them bigger and let them attack there and then. So it does have a slight downside, but it is really good for, like, value chaining. So I'm not 100% sure whether 2 copies is right, or one copy and 2 Resilience would be better. I'm not entirely sure. We do have the bore throughs. This is really good in here, right? Again, more damage to face. There's more and more armor in the game now, so it actually has a really good impact on removing. And again, for 3 energy, you can trigger all your combos. Gestalt energy is just fantastic. Everything that we said about Enhanced Musculature, but where Gestalt energy is really good is when you've played not just Nexus, but another troop as well. So you've actually got a wider board. Like, when I say a wider board, 3 units is a wide board with this deck. Because remember, it includes your Warlord, right? So these, as well as the trigger from Nexus, it's giving +2 to all units. Living Icon is superb now, guys. This card is, like, so broken. It probably should be in every GSC deck now. But it's fantastic in this deck. It's a spell. It synergizes with everything we're trying to do, and more importantly, it draws troops, and we're trying to draw troops. So it's just a beautiful card. Maybe this is a card I would also keep in my opening mulligan. I think it probably is. Yeah, if I haven't got Nexus, I probably would keep it. We talked about the Summon the Call, and then we got the Subterranean Ambush. So the Subterranean Ambush is a card that, again, no one's really played before, but this was one of my tech choices here, where I realized, actually, if it's all around Nexus and all around Saboteur, just being able to put it back, and you're always pretty much going to be able to do it, because we run so few troops, but we're never going to get the 3 options shown to us and not have the one we want. So it's actually beautiful in this deck. You know, would you pay for a 5E Nexus when you've already played one for 4? Of course you would, right? Especially in a deck like this. And finally, last but not least, we've got the Telepathic Dominion. Just because it's just so good. You know, if someone plays a Patriarch later game or one of the big Dark Angel Terminators, you know, you can just steal it and win the game that way as well. So yeah, that is the deck, guys. I really love this deck. I hope you do too. Give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what you think. And what we're going to do now is we're going to jump into some games. We've got a mixture of some cool replays that I kind of like save that I want to show you guys, and then I've got some live games. We're going to jump into. We'll jump into some live games afterwards as well. So yeah, if you like the sound of that, hit that thumbs up and let's jump on into the games. Okay, so let's look at a few games, starting with the game against Asmodai. Okay, so we have actually got one of our, pretty much our only 2-drop, and we've also got a living icon, which I'm going to keep. It's one of the few actual spells that we will keep in the opening hand because it draws troops. And the whole name of the game in the early game, if you don't have Nexus, is to draw troops. So we are actually going to keep that. Now, I kind of made a bit of a mistake here. I went with the Void Combat, almost a bit of a automatic reaction, having played against Azrael so much, but actually against Asmodai it's probably not correct and very bad for GSC because you're essentially giving him spells which you can then use to trigger that. So that was an error. I don't suggest running Void Combat as an offense spell for this deck. So we obviously drop the Specialist, which he then clears. Now, we don't have a drop, so we're obviously going to stick the living icon on and just hit in the face, and that will draw us a nice troop. Okay, not actually, possibly one of the worst ones we could draw. Best card in the faction, but not necessarily the one we wanted to see right now. So we are going to drop the Nexus. It's certainly too early to be comboing off for any finisher here, but... Okay, so he drops the rock, and again you can see that the Void Combat is really hurting us a lot more than it's hurting him at the minute. So interesting, we can use the Nexus ability to buff Saffa. Saffa can then clear, and then we can use the living lining weight to return the Nexus and put him back down into stealth at full health. Remember, it returns him at 1. It only costs 1 to replay. Now, unfortunately, he does have the AoE, which combined again with the Void Combat means that we get cleared. So our plan is not going too well at this point. Like, he's doing a pretty good job of countering it. We're already down to 18 health, so we kind of revert to plan B a little bit, which is dropping the Saboteur, which is kind of like one of the other win cons in the deck. Really helps us through these sort of like turns where we haven't got our initial combo off. Usually we'd have ended the game by now. So we're going to drop our other Nexus. We did also have the Subterranean Ambush, which we could have used to replay a Nexus. Eve just for a really cheap spell, which obviously is going to trigger another concealed explosives, and the blast from the Saboteur is obviously going to finish this off, so we can go face. And of course, we're not worried about the Saboteur dying here at this stage. He's got loads of pressure he's got to worry about. But ultimately, we're thinking we're just going to win the game with Nexus. So he does clear up the board, drops the Ravenwing Bike. We're down to 8 health, but I don't think it's going to matter. The enhanced musculature. We're trying to get as many spells in here as we can, and as you can see, the Void Combat for once is actually helping us here. This is a play that I like to do where you drop the Locust after you've dropped Nexus if you have the perfect ambush, so you can make this guy invulnerable if you need to set the combo up for next turn. But to be honest with you, I think we've got enough damage here to just end the game now. So we just go face with the spells, buffing these guys as high as we can. Kaboom. GG. Oh, and we drew our cheap Nexus as well from the lining, not lining weight, from the Eve of the Uprising. Okay, so next up, we are playing against the ultramarines, and we've got the Chaplain. And we're going to keep the enhanced musculature. I don't always do that. I've gone with a thunderstorm. And it turns out that we are actually playing against Silverblade. So, we've got a good UM player here. Knows what he's doing for sure. And we're just going to draw, because again, we really just want to draw for troops. Even though we've got 2 troops, we want to draw until we get that Nexus in hand. So he's also going to draw a good opening turn for Ultramarines, given that their 3 costed draw card only costs 2. That's like the unique piece of the Ultramarines part of that card. So we're just going to drop our Locust. Now, one of the things that you can do with this deck is obviously you can try and stun lock the deck early, and that helps you to buy you time to find Nexus and set up the combo. Now he is playing on curve, he drops the Tech Marine, but what we decide to do here is actually just kill this with our backstab, use one of those removal spells. That means we know that we can guaranteed stun Chaplain Letharius now with the attack from Locust. We also have enough then to play Enhanced Resilience, and this is a really nice card to play on Locust, because Locust can become a real problem for your opponent. Like, it's pretty hard to remove, and you know, ultimately you can just keep stunning them. So obviously he's bringing down the flankers and he's trying to remove this, but you can see like the Enhanced Resilience just often gets it just out of range of flankers at this stage in the game. And to make matters worse, we're actually going to drop another another stunner, and we're going to draw a troop because we're still looking for that Nexus. But we do guarantee the no, we don't guarantee the stun because it's stun. Okay, we didn't guarantee the stun there. Never mind. But we've got one in the bag here to stun next time. Okay, so he drops the Impulsor. Now, obviously, we do need to get rid of that, and we decide to play a little bit. Again, this is what's good about this deck. You sometimes have to think out of the box. That's obviously one of our combo pieces, but we use the Enhanced Musculature to kill that, and this way we again guarantee a stun on the Warlord. And we can also give him something to think about here by putting the poison supplies in his hand and therefore slowing down his tempo, which is what obviously Letharius wants to do. He wants to kind of build a board and out-tempo you. So he has to get rid of that. It means he's only got 4 energy to spend. Okay, so he has found the point blank. So that's not lucky, but that's good for him, obviously, given that his Warlord was stunned. Certainly helps him to clear the board. But now we finally draw the Nexus. A little bit slower in this game to get it. Remember, we've only got 10 troops in the deck. And we mulligan to keep troops, and we use 2 turns of drawing troops. So it's very normal that you should draw Nexus in the first few turns, to be honest. This game has been slightly late. What we're going to do here is just set up. So we're drawing the stratagems now, and we're trying to really just set up for a lethal next turn. We get 7 damage, and these setup turns are really important because even in a setup turn, you can get a couple of spells off, and that buffs to do, like, they're 7 damage, and that means it's enough usually to kind of set up for a lethal next turn. Okay, so you can put some damage on our Warlord without receiving any back. There's nothing to heal, and here we can kind of like just go off. Right, we got 9 energy. This is sort of perfect, like, slightly later game where you've got the Nexus down. It means you've got so much energy for spells, and we've got spells for days in this deck, of course. We can play Inscrutable Cunning. A little bit of a bug here, it's showing the deck empty, but the deck's definitely not empty. And just look at the numbers, guys. Just look at the numbers that you end up with here. I mean, that's 30 damage right there. 30 damage. GG. Guys, some of these games are going to be a bit interspersed because I just keep having amazing games with this deck and I'm loving it so much. So here we got the Gordrang, and we've actually decided to just keep the backstab, so we chug everything else. I'm going to go through this at a pace because it goes back and forth. It's a really good game. Okay, so he just armors up and... not armors up, sorry. Use choppers up and hits us in the face for 4. We do our pretty standard opening, Inscrutable Cunning. We're looking for a troop. and we get a second Locust. He actually drops a single Storm Boy, and I was thinking here like whether or not to just play a backstab and clear it, but it would put us off curve, and actually in the end I decided to just go with the Locust and just hit it, and obviously that means that this could effectively do 4 to our face. We've got to be careful against Gordrang, you know, that's quite a lot of that he can do, but he actually doesn't even attack us. Instead he plays, oh maybe he does, I'm not sure, he actually plays the second set of Storm Boys. This time he can play 2 out because he's got 4 energy. Okay, so he whacks us in the face. And this time, we actually do make use of the Alien Idol. We can't use it here for the Saboteur or the Nexus because we really just need to try and deal with this board and correct, and we need everything we can in the curve. So we use the Ancient Idol to be able to essentially play backstab. This way we can kind of hit the Storm Boy with our Saffa, and then we can backstab one, and then we can hit face with Locust, and 50-50 stun either the Storm Boy or Gordrang. Both are pretty good. We'd probably rather stun Gordrang, and we do. Nice. Okay, so he goes with the huge chopper play just to heal. And yeah, just trades 1 for 1. We're pretty happy with that. Now I could have played Perfect Ambush here, to be honest, because the stun is so important in this game that I think Perfect Ambush on Locust is a pretty decent turn. But instead we go for the draw. If we'd got Locust, maybe we would have Perfect Ambush, but because we got this, we played this. Knowing that we're stunning, and we're going to see, is he got flanker to deal with it? What's he going to do? He actually goes for the Grizzled Scarboy. Obviously we've got a damaged unit, so he gets a little bit of extra value there. Now we've got a really funky play here. We go the Biohorrors to get the enhanced resilience. This is going to make sure that our stun guy lives longer, so we can go ahead and play that now on the Locust so that we get another stun on Gordrang, but we're going to line in wait the Biophagus. That's going to come back and only cost 1. And lucky, we got 1 left, so we can replay that and put another Sabotage card in his hand. Okay, so it's E7. She's not in Will of Gork range yet, so he decides to get rid of the supplies and no mucking about. Okay, cool. So we're not as worried about that for Saboteur now. He does actually stun as well with his attack squig. A very good target. If you're the Gordrang player here, this is a very good target because there's a bit of a stun wall going on here, essentially. So now we are actually going to drop the Saboteur. I was really umming and ahhing whether to do it last turn, but I think I made the right play. And now I Perfect Ambush. And the reason I Perfect Ambush now, even though it can feel like a bit of a waste, is because it's E7, it's going to be his E8 now. So if he has Will of Gork, he clears that. So this guarantees us survival of Will of Gork. So you just can't be greedy against Orkz, right? At this stage in the game, you got to guarantee it if you've got it. Okay, of course he's going to clear that. He doesn't want to be getting locked down all game with Gordrang. Now between the explosion here and the blast from Saboteur, we know we can deal with the banner knob, so we're not overly worried there. So we're going to go ahead and draw. Now, do we go for a troop or a Sabotage? We go for a troop. It's not the one we wanted to see, unfortunately. This is where we're using a lot of what I call like the neutral stratagems. Like we don't want to go off yet with the enhanced musculature. Can't even say it. Musculature. We use the ball through because it works well. He's got the armor on, and we can play the Eve of the Uprising. I don't love the Eve here because obviously. On the one hand, I do like it because we've played quite a few really good 3-drops which we'll get for free. On the other hand, we haven't got the Nexus yet, and we're making it harder to find. So it's kind of like, you know, it's both a good and a bad thing. But it's led to a game where all sorts of like we're having to be aware of all sorts of different win conditions here. It's not a kind of formulaic game, this one for sure. Now the other problem here is that every time he uses that hero power, he's getting good healing as we go wide with Saboteur. So he does manage to clear that, but we have got 4 bombs going off here, which should easily deal with his troop, with the boss knob. And even though he gets +1 for each of these, it is doing like minimum of 1 back, if not more. Most of them are doing 2 damage. So we have got a net benefit from the go wide there. So we draw for a troop, and do we get the Nexus? No, we get instead our Eve of the Uprising. So this is a great game for Eve of the Uprising, for seeing that we're getting these three drops, getting them for 0 cost. Bit of a tongue twister there for my Yorkshire accent. Okay, now he goes Rock Invasion. Okay, now really interesting ideas here. We've got Summon of the Cult. Sorry, not Summon of the Cult. We get... first of all, he takes some damage from our Saboteur. Yeah, we draw the Subterranean Ambush, so obviously we can get back Saboteur. But what we do is we draw first and see if I can find Nexus. There's 2 lines of play that I'm thinking of. If we can find Nexus, we can win this turn. We don't find Nexus. So now we're forced into Plan B, which is to look for the Saboteur. See how this is not an easy game, guys. We're going to buy up. We're going to bio because it's the only way we can play that and backstab. So, because we had 3 energy left. So that puts down a bomb. Now we can backstab our own bomb. Here we go. This is going to do a lot of damage to his board, right? And don't forget, some of these are unstable as well. So they're going to kind of blow up. Yeah, this guy is unstable. So he's going to blow up anything that was left to either side, and what that leaves is a couple of units, so we can just trade the Bioficus in, and Locust will kill the Spanner, and that will actually stun Gordrang. Here we are, turn 11, still no Nexus. Okay, so he hasn't got Will by the looks of things. He's getting rid of the Saboteurs. What he has got is a big flanker, and that'll obviously... Oh, he could have chose to deal with that, but because he's down to 2 health, I think he wanted to just get rid of the bomb instead for free. So again, we're looking for that Nexus. This time we actually get the Nexus, so now we can just go off on a combo to win the game. The reason why we had some of the cult in against anyone else, we would have played this earlier, but we didn't because I was every turn thinking about not going too wide and giving him too much health for free, thinking about playing into Will of Gork. And yeah, we can just go off here. All these musculatures that we've been building up, we finally got a turn where we need to just go off on them. Of course, if we wanted, we could have Genestealer here, and the Nexus could trade and all that sort of stuff. But we've got lethal. We've got way more than lethal here. And actually, we had 29 damage there that we could do to face, which would be 26 damage if you take away the armor. So yeah, another really, really great game to show you there with our Nexus combo. Okay guys, just another really great replay to show you with this deck. So this time we're up against Junith, and we're going to keep the Locust and the backstab here and get rid of the Eve. Got it all in this guide, guys. We're showing off many different cards in this deck, many different lines of play. It's yeah, it's definitely going to be one of the better guides I've done, I think. So anyway, here we go. So we go off with the Inscrutable Cunning. We look for a troop. Just go face. Okay, so now we expect a Sister, and with the Prayer, he has got the Sacred Altar, so we'll keep an eye on the Faith there. Already up to 1, and Junith prays, so we'll be hitting face and dropping the Locust here. Face, drop the Locust. Go. Okay, so he's running the Sacrum. Is it Sacrum? Simulacrum Bearer. So he's going to get 50-50 on where we stun. We are going to drop the Nexus. Kill the Sister for the 50-50 stun, and then we'll drop the Nexus. Okay, he's got the relics. Only +3 now, so he's up to 4. Now we've got the Lining Weight and we've got the Perfect Ambush. So I want to kind of show some of the sort of bounce tactics that you can play. I'm going to play the Perfect Ambush and develop yet another stun. And rather than trading with this here, we see an opportunity. We could have hit both into there, but we see an opportunity to kind of go beat down here. Okay, so if you look at the board, what's he going to do here? Is he going to pray or is he going to trade? He's actually decided to pray rather than trading with this here. And so we know that if we save 3 energy, we can bounce and replay Nexus. So we play the Gestalt on energy. Obviously, with Nexus. That's a hell of a buff to a 4-person board. We can kill that. Stuns Junith. This goes down to 2. We've got 3 left, so we can play Line in Wait after we've attacked. So we go moderate on the boosting in order to replay Nexus because we didn't have lethal this turn. So again, just kind of like knowing when to go in and when to actually use things like Line in Wait and the perfect I forgot what it's called now. The 1-drop makes things invulnerable. Knowing when to use those to kind of like play for the next turn to kind of like sustain. Yep, so he goes wide, but very little he can do here. Obviously just use the backstab and the bore through on face to just take the buffs. And, yeah, kind of all she wrote. So yeah, just again, I think every single game in this guide, guys, you're going to see different things, different ways of playing it. But you enjoyed that one. GG. Alrighty guys, let's jump into some more gameplay with the sorcery deck. We are live with the patch. What do we want to keep here? We don't want to keep that. I think we can keep a backstab actually. Not sure whether we're supposed to keep Saboteur because by keeping it, generally speaking, I want to keep my troops here because it means that it's easier to then draw my troops. But with him playing this, maybe that was correct. Draw stratagems because we've got the troop that we need, troop that we want. Oh wow. I imagine that's getting picked back up. There it is. Wow, a lot of flyers. I would have rather stunned Imotekh, I guess, but... He has got 2 sabotage cards in his hand now. He might ignore the jam communications with 40 life still. Wow. Okay. Take the damage, is he? Okay. I think what I want to do is play... Yeah, I want to play the Saboteur next turn, I think.
We bring you the Star Children's blessing.
Do something like this. I think we play the Saboteur now and then the Nexus afterwards.
We bring you the Star Children's blessing.
I wanted to get rid of all these. Yeah. Okay. So actually, we're gonna attack here. Are we?
I will topple the walls of the oppressed zone.
Sure. Oh, why didn't I clear that off? What am I doing? Oh my god, what am I doing? Okay, that was idiotic. I'm thinking 2 turns ahead and not thinking about what I need to do this turn.
Kindred at the ready. The plan moves forward.
Perfect. So what we're going to do is play this on this. Set that up for next turn.
Proved yourself to be a worthy foe.
AoE. Okay. We got the subterranean ambush that could bring him back, which is kind of funny. Question is whether we'll need it. Generally want this for Nexus as well, obviously. We one off. Are we really one off? So he's looking for his flanker. Has he got the 3 drops? Vanguard? Oh, heal. You can go up to 3. Nice. Very clever. It's very clever, but we do this. We do this. And we do this. We got him. I love this deck, man. It's a really interesting game, that, because Imotekh obviously has got the ability to drag the game out a lot longer. Okay, what we got? I think we're going to get rid of all of that. Do we want to keep the backstab? I think we need to keep the backstab. The Acid Rain's a strange one because it does help us in everything, every situation except one, which is it makes Nexus vulnerable to his 6E AoE. Okay, so we're just gonna play this guy and basically put the cult propaganda down, make him kind of spend his mana and his turn attacking elsewhere. Okay, so what are we gonna do next? Let's have a look. Oh. This would do 5 damage. The thing would actually kill it. Yeah, I think we can get rid of that. I think that makes sense. Okay. So, do we want to play... Do we want to play the initiative? Yeah, just to take heat off again off of this. Like, I don't think we're going to really get any value off of that, so we might as well. Okay. Got double Eve of the Uprising. Gonna do it again, even though there's no cards to put back. But we've got lethal if we can somehow survive and there's no Vanguard. Admittedly, it could be a big if. That much I admit. Hit face and kaboom. We got him. Swarmlord down. Deck is fire, guys. Deck is fire. Saffa Mirror. Interesting. Looking for troops. I actually think the slump overspill could be good. Like, delaying the game. I think he's better for us, is that right? I think that might be right. I mean, we're not assuming to be playing the we're assuming we're playing like Sabotage. Actually, you know, is that correct? Does he just keep hold of that? Keep giving them us? just to block our hand? Is that an actual valid tactic? It might well be, you know. Might well be. I think he's, yeah, he is. He's good to keep. Oh boy. Well, there's one we could ignore. What was the first one, right?
The day of ascension approaches.
The Grizzlebit and I have created such wonders to fuel our ascension.
Kind of interesting though. This does give us a combo with Reductor Saboteur now. Okay, so he has to turn clearing out. Nice, that allows us to drop the Saboteur, so that's pretty good. Oh no, it doesn't, because we paid for that, didn't we? Hmm. Boss.
Make haste. Ascension will not wait for you.
So because he's cleared that out, can we?
Your fate is sealed.
Ah. Just not finding it. It's Patriarch, isn't it? Yep. And here comes the flanker. Oh, perfect ambush, yeah, it's always one of the two, right? I don't even remember what it does.
I will topple the walls.
So I guess we just gotta hope that we can stun it. Which we can. So.
Kindred, at the ready. The plan moves forward.
Alright. So we figured out what that was then. So, first thing you want to do is this.
The day of ascension approaches.
Next thing we want to do is this. Okay.
We return to the shadows.
We got him!
Soon we'll finish what we
GG's Zale.
started.
Yeah, interesting. It's going to be interesting with the mirror map, with the sabotage. I keep saying it's a mirror. It's kind of not a mirror in a way, because you're playing against a very different type of Saffa deck. Or Mesos. We keep Saboteur. Oh yeah, we'll take that. Even cheaper stratagems. Yes, please. Fits into our game plan very nicely. Okay, so what we do here is now we go for stratagems because we've got the troops that we need. So he drew on companions, and he does play the Guardian drone down. Okay. Well, no harm attacking with melee here. Dropping this. That's the turn back. Very nice combos here, right? We've got both Nexus, Saboteur, potential bring back with Subterranean Ambush, so... Ah. Ooh, interesting. I'm actually gonna play this. And stratagem. Yeah. Sure, put 1 damage on. It's a bit of an issue. Kind of don't really want to play this here. Kind of want to play after Saboteur. I suppose we've got the subterranean play, haven't we? Yeah, so that's fine. Save your protocols. Cheap drones incoming. Yeah, you can get a blocker down now. Well played. Clear that out for free as well. Backstrider's so much better now. He's doing this nicely. Definitely doing this nicely. Oh my boy. Oh my lord. 2 Civvy protocols. Yep. Drones be cheap. So we really need to find backstab, is that right? There it is. So, how do we want to do this?
Make haste. Ascension will not wait for you.
I guess we'd just play this. Do we play this now, or do we play the guys out first, actually? Maybe we play this first. Listen to this. Cosplay that. And maybe just play this for another stratagem. You know, I guess we could have gone heal there, right? Put that up to 3. But I think what I'm trying to set up essentially is subterranean. Finish next turn. Sure. Okay. Clears that as well, so only 1 explosion. Okay. Nice. I'm gonna go with a Nexus play. And I'm gonna play this.
Your fate is sealed.
So 3 versus 3, it really makes... Actually, it makes a lot of difference because this thing's got armor. You kill you, and you kill you. And I think we've done it, boys. Combo to finish. Man, this deck feels good. Feels good, boys. So many options. So many options. Okay, here we go. What's that? Is that 33 damage? $32 damage? Oh, boys, 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 boys. And that is what we call the Combo Nexus deck. Oh, this is a good one, guys. This is a good one. Thank you so much, Shrigma, for giving me this idea and bringing me back to an earlier idea that we'd had. This deck is absolutely fire. I do actually think that the new where's it gone? The Summon the Cult is quite nice. Like, it adds, what you're trying to do is hit 3-drops with troops. And it's basically an alternative way of hitting a 3-drop troop without actually playing more troops. We don't want to play more troops because we want to draw into the key combo pieces. Yeah, I'm super happy with this deck, guys. I will continue to tinker with it, whether I think second Subterranean, but I actually think one's about right. I'm actually really getting quite happy with this balance. I'm winning a lot of games. Yeah, it's fire. Let me know in the comments what you think. This is one of my favorite creations, to be honest. As I say, heavily inspired by Shrigma, but I definitely feel like I've made this my own now, and I'm happy with how it's working. So yeah, I see this being one of my 4 that I'm going to push with this season, and so far so good. I will make sure I do at the end of the season a debrief, and I am tracking all my win rates and stats this season, so I will be able to do a full breakdown of the deck at the end of the season. Alright guys, I'll hit that thumbs up if you've enjoyed this, and thank you very much for all the support as always. Subscribe to the channel if you like this one. Check out this video right here.